Hey guys, hope you're having a great day. We're going to start doing something new, starting, let's say, I think one video a week, where I just take in like a question from one of you guys, or from social media like Reddit, INFJ, and just see like what people have to say in regards to how they should make a decision or how they feel about something, and then I will go ahead and offer like my perspective and like my guidance on how why someone might be going through a certain struggle, or why they might not have clarity, and just kind of help them through it. So anyway, so I got this from the INFJ Reddit, which is anyone else feel out of place in groups? I've always felt like this and don't really relate to the social chameleon or extroverted introvert types. In large groups, I'm usually more like an observer than actually blending in or mirroring. Pretty sure I'm an NI-DOM like INTJ or an INFJ, but I'm struggling to figure out which one. I often feel more like I'm flying under the radar, keeping opinions to myself, unless I know someone really well. Usually I try to be nice, but keep my distance at the same time. Are there any of you that relate to this? So, I can definitely relate to this because I'm an INFJ, and when it comes to like large groups, we tend to blend into the background, not because we have nothing to say, but because people don't really get us. They don't really get what's going on in our minds, so we have to force ourselves to not say something that's like really ridiculous or like bombastic, because INFJs have this like very unique sense of humor, which is kind of like very dark, and most people don't want to go there. They don't really understand it, because to them it's just like, how can you say something like that? Is like, you know, it goes against societal norms, the way an INFJ thinks, or just the way they behave, and so it's very hard for us to kind of be like get involved in a group, because not a lot of people are going to share ideals or even understand us. And I'll give you a perfect example. So once I was talking to an INFJ coworker, right? And usually he's got like long hair, and the last few times I've seen him, he had like his long hair on, but then one day he like showed up to work and he got a haircut and actually looked really nice, right? And so I just like, as I was walking by him to go to the break room, I told him that, you know, in like this kind of weird tone, I said it like in this way: nice haircut. And the reason why I said it this way is because I've always heard people like kind of make a joke about it, where they like say like, make a joke about it because they say it like sarcastically, and so then the way I was saying it, it was like a reflex. I genuinely didn't want to like compliment him on his haircut, but like just because of how I've always heard people say it, it came out like a little bit sarcastic. But then at the same time, because I was genuine with my compliment, he just kind of like stared at me for like 5 seconds, and then he asked me, "Is that sarcasm?" Because he couldn't tell, because I was actually being genuine, but then the way I was saying it was sarcastic. And because INFJ is able to, you know, read between lines and like decipher whether or not someone is being authentic, so I am being authentic, but then the way I'm saying it is sarcastic. So then it was very difficult for him to like check whether or not I was being sarcastic, because he's just like, but then this guy's being genuine, but then he sounds sarcastic, and so he was confused. So then basically the interaction was like really hilarious. I just started bursting out laughing, because had he not asked, then I would have told him that I actually wasn't being sarcastic, but because he did ask me, then I told him that I was, just like fuck with him. And basically this is kind of like an example of how INFJ humor works, because we're always like reading between the lines when it comes to like any type of conversation or interaction. And so if you're not INFJ, or if you're not able to intuitively pick up between the lines or like understand such a high level of like conversation, it can be kind of weird, because then people will just be like, what are you talking about? But then to an INFJ, it's absolutely hilarious, because of everything that's going on, everything that's like unspoken. So yeah. So in the last example, we're both basically picking up on the fact that I'm messing with him. So he knows I'm messing with him, and he knows that I know that he knows that I'm messing with him, and so that's why it's funny. So like in groups of strangers, we basically can't do this, right? We have to dumb down our conversations, because people just don't get it. And so you can kind of like call this like EQ, so like emotional intelligence. So like there's IQ, which is like intellectual intelligence. This is EQ, which is emotional intelligence, how well you can like read a person. And so most of the time in like groups, we are gauging the EQ of a group before we like interact with it, because we want to determine how high level our conversations can be. And in most cases, they can't be like that intuitive or high level, because otherwise no one's going to understand us. And most of the time it's dumbed down because just people won't get like the amount of like mindfuckery that we're trying to like do to them. So yeah, to answer this question, it is normal to feel that way, especially if you're an INFJ. And in most cases, you feel like you can't be yourself. It's not your fault. It's the person whom you're speaking to, because their EQ isn't high enough to comprehend what you're saying. But if you are communicating with like another INFJ or another intuitive type, like INTJs, so like INTJs can kind of understand it, just not from an emotional level, but they can understand the logical aspect of it, then, you know, you're free to like be wild and basically have a good time. So yeah, that's my take on it. Hope you got value out of this video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you're wondering why I transitioned from a white to blue shirt, basically, I was shooting this last night and the video cut off halfway, and so I'm continuing it on from this point onwards. So yeah, have a great day, have a great weekend wherever you are, and peace out.